It all started with a knock at my door, or actually, the total lack of one. I'd been waiting for this package, nothing fancy, just a new set of noise-canceling headphones I'd spent months justifying to myself, scraping up spare change, and promising I'd finally treat myself to some peace and quiet for once. But that afternoon, when I opened my front door, there was this weird emptiness, the kind that prickles the back of your neck, like something small and dumb just went very wrong. My package was nowhere to be seen. Now, a normal person might have shrugged it off. Maybe the driver mixed up addresses, maybe it'd show up tomorrow, whatever. But something in my gut had me checking the Ring camera right away, and there it was, 2:07 p.m. on the dot, my neighbor Karen. Yeah, that kind of Karen, the self-appointed neighborhood warden, just waltzing across my porch like she was on patrol, bends down, scoops up my Amazon box, and flashes this smile that makes you want to scream. No shame, no checking if anyone was watching, just straight up acting like the package had her name on it all along. I stormed out, adrenaline thumping in my veins. But of course she'd already disappeared back into her suburban fortress. A palace of beige vinyl siding, white plastic shutters, and a mailbox painted to HOA specification. I was livid, like, shaking mad, heart pounding in my throat livid. But I wasn't about to let her get away with it. So I walked over, knocked on her door, already rehearsing my "you realize this is theft, right?" speech. When she finally opened up, she didn't even try to act surprised. Arms crossed, chin up, the kind of smirk that could curdle milk. "Oh, that package? It looked suspicious," she drawled, like she was cross-examining me on a bad TV drama. Suspicious, right? Dangerous, noise-canceling headphones. I told her to hand it over, and she just shook her head, straight-faced, acting like I was the one breaking the rules. "I'll be reporting this to the board," she said, like she was sending me to the principal's office. You ever get so mad your whole body starts to vibrate? That was me. I stomped home, seething, already drafting a half-dozen angry emails in my head. But what nobody knew, not me, not Karen, not the entire HOA, was that this little spat over a package was about to spiral into something you'd expect in a bad action movie. I'm talking flashing lights, tactical gear, even a tank. Yes, a literal tank, taking out my living room wall. And it all started with that dumb Amazon box. The next day, I figured, all right, I'll do the rational thing. I called Amazon customer service, explained what happened, expecting maybe a refund, maybe a sympathetic script read from some call center 1,000 miles away. But as soon as I mentioned the neighbor, the rep got real quiet. Not the "I'm so sorry" quiet. More like the "I want off this call right now" quiet. After a pause, they told me they'd escalate it for investigation. Investigation. For headphones. I hung up, feeling weird. A few hours later, there was this pounding on my front door. Not the friendly UPS kind, the something's wrong kind. 2 police officers, stern, polite, but not warm, asking questions about suspicious deliveries and whether I'd ordered anything unusual. I blurted out the story. The only suspicious thing here is my neighbor's sticky fingers. They scribbled in little notebooks, exchanged a look, and left. And just when I thought it couldn't get weirder, boy, was I wrong. That evening, as the sun went down, I spotted Karen again, standing at the edge of her driveway, phone to her ear, just staring at me. Not a casual glance, not a neighborly wave, more like a hawk watching a mouse, cold and calculating. I got that cold sweat. You know the feeling, when the air in your own house doesn't feel safe. By nightfall, the whole street was whispering. Suddenly, it wasn't "Guy got his package stolen." It was "What's he hiding?" Karen, queen of the HOA, had already spun her story and the crowd bought it. Neighbors side-eyed me from their driveways, gossip thick as humidity after a summer rain. Next morning, I'm yanked out of bed by a sound that didn't belong. Deep, rumbling engines. Not delivery trucks, not garbage men, something heavier. I peeked through the blinds and almost fainted. SWAT vans, black SUVs, the works, rolling down our perfect suburban street. And I kid you not, a tank, an actual, honest-to-God tank, parking itself on my front lawn. At first I thought maybe there was a mix-up, wrong address or something. But no, they were here for me. Because in the world according to Karen, I was the criminal mastermind behind the missing headphones. Suddenly, there's this booming bullhorn. This is the police. Come out with your hands up. My heart practically punched through my ribs. The walls felt like they were closing in. Neighbors were spilling onto their lawns, cell phones out, filming every second. And in the middle of all of it, Karen, arms folded, face lit up like she'd just won the lottery. I tried yelling out the window, tried to explain, but the bullhorn cut me off again. Louder, meaner. Final warning. Then the tank lurched forward, its treads eating up my lawn like it was nothing. I stumbled back, brain melting, as the cannon angled right at my window. Before I could even think, my front door exploded. Like actual wood and metal flying everywhere, black-clad SWAT stormed in, rifles raised, screaming over each other. "Get down. Hands on your head." I dropped, hands shaking, mouth dry, trying to spit out anything. But it didn't matter. They weren't listening. They yanked me up, zip-tied my wrists so tight I lost feeling in my fingers. Another team stormed through the kitchen, tearing the place apart, drawers flying, plates smashing. In less than a minute, my quiet little house was a full-on war zone. Then, as I knelt on the carpet, I heard this sound, like thunder inside my chest. The tank didn't just stop at my lawn. It rolled right through my living room wall, tearing up the foundation, leaving nothing but dust and twisted metal. My couch snapped in two, family photos crushed, everything I'd built, gone. Outside, neighbors screamed. Some ran, but not Karen. She stood there, arms crossed, savoring the chaos. In that moment, I realized this wasn't about the package anymore. She wanted me erased. When the dust settled, I was still zip-tied, sitting in the ruins of what used to be my safe space. The tank just sat there, an absurd mechanical monster in the middle of my living room. SWAT ransacked every inch, looking for bombs or drugs or God knows what else. I tried to yell over the commotion. It was my neighbor. She stole it. But nobody cared. Eventually, the lead officer, helmet off, sweat running down his face, came back. "There's nothing here," he grunted, almost annoyed. "Not a damn thing." Of course not, because all I'd ever wanted was a pair of headphones. They cut me loose, but the damage was done. My house looked like it had been hit by a tornado and then looted for good measure. And my reputation, well, Karen had seen to that. She stood on her porch, mug in hand, sipping coffee, soaking in my humiliation. But then, just as I thought it was all over, I caught a twist. One that made me smile, even just a little. The officers, finally, started asking Karen questions. Like, how did she know about the dangerous package? Why was she the one who took it in the first place? Suddenly, her script got shaky. She mumbled something about community safety and protocol, but nobody was buying it anymore. They let her back inside her house for questioning. The neighborhood, for the first time, started murmuring not about me, but about her. By the time the sun set, the convoy of police vehicles was gone, but the wreckage remained. My porch cracked, my pride somewhere beneath the rubble. I sat out there, watching what was left of my neighborhood try to piece itself back together. And Karen, well, she wasn't quite the untouchable tyrant she'd been that morning. Maybe, for the first time, people saw her for what she was. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous to think that all this carnage started with a missing box, a pair of headphones. But here we are. SWAT, tanks, national headlines in a place that used to feel like Mayberry. If I learned anything, it's this. When you live next to someone who craves power more than peace, you're living with a time bomb. And sometimes, all it takes is a small spark, an Amazon box, a careless smile, to blow the whole thing wide open. I'm still here. Karen's empire? Maybe a little cracked. But what about the neighborhood? Is justice just cleaning up the mess or finally learning who the real villain was all along? So what do you think? Who was right? Who crossed the line? And what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Drop your thoughts down below. Hit that like button if you think HOA power trips have gone too far, and don't forget to subscribe. Because if you think this story was wild, wait till you hear the next one.